Blakey. He was a jazz drummer.
Okay,
He
cool.
always did this kind
Art
of rim
Blake?
shot thing. Art Blakey.
Art Blakey.
Art Blakey.
Is actually his name.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
See, I thought you were
Great
being,
jazz
I thought
drummer.
you were being like very like Joey Ramone.
No. Art Blakey.
Art Blakey.
Yeah.
E.
Yeah. He was a great like bebop era jazz drummer.
Nice.
Really one of like the 5 best drummers ever. You know?
Sweet.
He
I
liked
like
that.
that. I like that too.
Played a lot with Thelonious Monk and like
Sweet.
Bird and Sonny Rollins.
Yeah.
And,
So this is an idiophone.
yeah, it's definitely an idiophone. And this is the top of a like an oil drum
Oh,
kind of
okay.
thing.
And then you bent it a little bit, or
Yeah, bash it with a hammer for
Bash it in
a
a
long
bit.
time.
nice.
You know? So there's a
Sweet.
dimple in there.
So you
and-
bash those dimples in there.
Yeah.
Okay,
And then
cool.
there's a dimple inside the dimple.
Nice.
So it's kind of like, it's similar to the steel drum idea, except I'm not trying to really make it like play songs or anything.
Right.
This like takes the place of, as I said when we did the snare one,
Uh-huh.
like I was kind of ambivalent about having a plastic headed drum,
Right.
you know? And
Mhm.
so this really makes that same like
Yeah.
sound that you get from a snare drum. So it's
Got
like-
it.
So like I probably won't use snare very often. Like,
Right.
because this kind of gets the same.
Yeah.
And it's sort of cooler because it's like. It has more sounds than
Than
a
a
drum
snare would
does.
anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds like 2 or
Cool.
3 different things, and this sounds like 7 or 8.
Yeah. It's cool when you start to get into this world of making your own instruments and listening to other people play these instruments, is that your whole world of sound kind of explodes and expands because you just listen to everything differently.
Right, yeah, everything's gotten so, yeah, it's kind of a drag. Like everything's gotten really formalized what everything sounds like.
Yeah.
And that happened before, like the European instruments, the instruments of the orchestra. They built those all because they didn't have amplifiers or microphones in those days.
Right.
So they made everything to be like, to get as much loudness out of them as they could.
Mhm.
So they gave up a lot of subtleties of sound within them.
Right.
Like a flute is really clear and a violin is really boom, like
Yeah.
that. And no, it's kind of nice if you have something that sort of has some mud in it and some kind of zhzh in
Yeah.
it. You know, like for Indian music, for their instruments, they make them buzz as much as possible.
Right. Yeah.
And like Ambiras in Africa, they put bottle caps all over them so they rattle as much as
Yeah.
possible. You know, and all these other sounds were unwelcome, you know, because of what they were doing with them. And
Right.
then it's like everybody forgot to think. And since about 1960, Leo Fender invented the electric guitar, the modern electric guitar, the solid
Right.
body one, and the
His
electric
first name
bass,
was Leo.
and the electric bass, and Remo Belli invented the new drum heads, the modern drum heads,
Oh.
and everybody uses Remo
Everybody
heads.
uses
Yeah,
them.
they're like, and
Huh.
they have different kinds and stuff. But that's been the sound of music ever since.
Right. Fuck, I just realized you're totally standing outside of frame. Can you come closer?
Well,
There.
yeah, I can't play it and do that.
Okay, keep going.
So anyway, where do you want me from?
I don't know. It's hard to say. I don't know when you step out of frame.
Yeah.
So, come from talking about
Everything sounds the same.
everything sounds the same.
Yeah, so all these things have gotten really codified, like,
Right.
and it's the reason that, so now everything's about processing because nobody's thought about the sounds of the instruments. They
Right,
just
so
think
they're
about
all
how
trying
can
to
I fuck
play
this
the
sound up, you know?
weird-
How can I make
Right.
this not sound like the thing it sounds like?
Right.
Which is, to me, kind of ass backwards. It's like, well, why not just make another instrument and start from a different place instead of just putting more layers of crap on top of the sound? It's like,
Yeah, you mean,
you know-
and by more layers of crap, you mean reverb
and
and
processors,
processors
all that
and
stuff.
pedals of a million
Yeah,
types and varieties.
And,
Gotcha.
and to me, like, as somebody who listens, those sounds aren't that interesting because if you play the same pedal as that person,
Right.
like, it sounds like the same pedal, man. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
but it just does.
Yeah.
It's like, there's no reason that your boss chorus pedal is gonna sound different than some other guy's boss chorus pedal.
Right.
It just does. And it's, I understand why people want that, because they're bored of the sounds.
Yeah.
But
You
like,
totally understand.
Yeah.
You're right there with them.
oh yeah, and I did that too. I
Yeah.
bought those things, you know?
Totally.
And so, but the thing is, well, let's just start from different sounds.
Right.
You know, it's not like they got left out because they wanted a certain thing from symphony orchestras 200 years ago.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
It's not like, you know,
Yeah.
that wasn't like the end all and be all of thinking about stuff. They're really good at what they do, those instruments. Like a
Yeah.
violin, a Stradivarius violin is the most beautiful
Yeah.
thing in the world. And I could work for 700
Wow.
years and not make anything that good.
Right.
You know.
It's just a different approach. It's a
Right.
different goal you're trying to reach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, why get stuck with that?
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly. I know, right?
You know? So it's like, yeah.
You know, it's interesting because you really are the first and only music teacher I've had. And so people will often, like, I play music, but I wouldn't call myself a musician. And like, because people ask me, well, what do you play? And I go, I don't know,
question.
everything.
First question. You know,
What do you play? What do you
have
play?
been qualified
What have I
to
been
play?
qualified to be the player of because of my years of training?
Yeah.
Nothing.
And
Do I play music? Absolutely.
And that has a downside too, is like, well, I complain about musicians and I appreciate it, but they get, when you have an instrument that's the same as everybody else, the only thing you can do is play it faster or something than somebody else to differentiate yourself, because you're all stuck with this same stuff.
Right.
You know,
You
that,
only have letters A through Z.
right, so if you want to express some individuality, the only way you can do that is by breaking through. You know, now with guitar players, people have been playing the shit out of guitars for
Right.
50, 60 years.
Yeah.
Like every kid played a guitar from the time I grew up till now.
Yeah.
Kind of, it's default. So that, how are you going to distinguish yourself doing this? Well, I'm just going to show off more than you. And it becomes like that.
Right.
And I think musicians should maybe think about more where music comes from and stuff like that a little more than thinking about like these specific instruments and like using all the same tools. And I include
Right.
this in the 4/4 beats and the equal tempered scale and the major minor harmonic systems and stuff like that is,
Yeah.
yeah, they're cool, they're great, like
Yeah.
they do what they do, but like don't you want to do something else?
Yeah,
You know?
bravo, but
Yeah, you know,
let's,
so.
let's keep pushing the envelope. Let's keep.
Yeah, so maybe like put your focus into thinking of different things to do and different ways of doing them, then instead of competing over this, and it's really narrow, that territory, you know, only like this, it's just this Euro idea, and nothing wrong with European people, I'm descended from them, but, you know, 80% of the world has nothing to do with being European.
Yeah.
And there's all kinds of music
Yeah.
that doesn't have this. They don't
So
have
true.
major minor systems, and they don't have equal temperament, and everything isn't in 4/4 all the time, you know. You know.
Thank goodness.
And so like, you know, yeah, like let's make music out of sounds instead of making music out of like this very narrow, accepted,
Instruments. Yeah.
conventional theory model and set of instruments that have been
Yeah.
the same forever.
Yep.
You know, like the rock band was invented in the 50s and is still the same rock band.
Yeah.
You know, bass guitars, drums, maybe throw in a horn, have someone sing.
Yeah.
Boring. You know?
Yes. I love it. Awesome. Well, hey, I hope we all inspire you guys to do that, to do just that.
Hey, give it a shot, man. It's not that hard.
Right? You got this. Till next time.